Kia ora boys, I wanted to do a really quick video about how to reference and use footnotes for Achievement Standard 2.2. So what do we need to reference? If there are any pictures or images which you copy pasted from a website, reference it. If there's any direct word for word quotes within quotation marks, reference it. So those quotations can come from your soldiers with their perspectives of the trenches, but it could also come from historians. You might have a text of an historian describing something. Well, if it's word for word out of that person's book, you need to reference it. Also, any casualty figures, any numbers, any statistics, that sort of stuff needs to be referenced. So what you need is ideas, statistics, images, and word for word text which is taken from a book or a website. So this is how you do it. I've got a map here which talks about troop deployment at the Broodsender Ridge. Now I'm probably mispronouncing that. Apologies if I am. I'm going to click on the end of it and I'm going to go References, Insert Footnote. And that will put a 1 at the bottom of the page with a short line. Up here at the end of the sentence it's also put a 1. So that links this image to the reference down the bottom. Now I need to put information about where that image came from. So if I flick across to this website, this is where I copy and pasted it from, NZ History. This is a great website because if I scroll down to the bottom, it says how to cite this page, and I can just copy, paste, be a bit pedantic and tidy it up. There you go, done. That's referenced. If this didn't have that handy dandy how to cite this page down the bottom, so if that didn't exist, like Wikipedia doesn't have that at the bottom of the page. I'll show you how to reference this. All we need is the title. Let me take that. Battle of Broodsender. And then I want to put the URL, drop it in, full stop, and then in brackets the date accessed, which for me is the 4th of the 4th 2020. So that's how you reference an article that doesn't have that shortcut, the how to cite this article. Most of you will be using Wikipedia like that. Continuing on, now I've referenced that picture. I've got some quotes here. I've put these quotes in red so that they jump out and you can see them. You don't put quotes in red. I've just put them in red to show you where the quotes are. Now I need to reference this quote. So this one came from a book. So I'm going to go again, References, Insert Footnote, and that's given me a number 2. So this quote is now number 2. Now I know that this book came from an author called Witcher, Gerald Witcher, full stop. Now I need the year, so you put parenthesis 2013 parenthesis. Now I need the title of the book. So I turn on italics. Title is always written in italics. The Anzacs in Europe. Full stop. Publisher information. Full stop. And then page number. Page 123. Full stop. That's a really formulaic way of setting it all out. It has to be last name, comma, initial, dot, parenthesis, 2013, parenthesis, full stop. Italics, title, full stop. Publisher, full stop. Page 123, full stop. If there are multiple pages, PP, 123 to 126, but that quote doesn't go for that long, so page, singular page. That's how you reference a quote. Number 2. Here is another one. This will be from a different book, or I can put it from a website. Again, references, insert footnote. This will be, let's just say, from the same dude, copy paste, but this is 129, full stop. The problem with this next quote is, whereas these ones were just a few lines long, this quote is a paragraph long. Now, if your quote runs larger than a couple of sentences, you need to do it differently. You need to deal with it differently. So this becomes its own paragraph as such. Then you highlight it, and at the top there should be a ruler which stretches across the top of your screen. If it doesn't, you can click the view ribbon and it's here. That'll bring the ruler up. And what we need to do is indent on the left, and you can indent by dragging. There's a little slider. It's not the shaded slider, that'll move the whole page. We don't want that. What we want is the little, looks like an hourglass. You can drag it and move it around. We just want to indent it. Indent it on the right as well. And then finally, italics. Another thing which I like, which can tidy this up, is if you go home, justify the text. It just makes it look good. And when you guys get to university, if you're doing this essay writing, a paragraph sized quotation, justify the text. And so by justify, I mean you go home, and then you can probably default settings, having it to the left. What you got to do is move it over and justify, and that just makes it boxed. Last thing, of course, I'm going to need to go insert, reference here, insert footnote, and then where does this text come from? Well, it probably comes from this book again. Let's grab that. We'll drop old Gerald in there. 124. Full stop. So that's some referencing. This is footnotes. So I've shown you how to reference the map to a website. 2 of these in-text references, and then this, of course, we're going to change this back to black because you don't leave the colored text. That's referencing. Once you get to the end of your work, you're going to need to do a bibliography. If you have successfully referenced everything, at the end of your text, all you got to do is go back through and copy all of that junk there and just paste it in. Probably get rid of this. And this is your bibliography. Done. And it's just a list of all the sources and pages that you've used. Although, because you've already put them in the referencing and the footnotes, you just copy paste them at the end and that'll be a large list. Everything that you've used throughout your entire project. Alright, any questions on that? Give me a yell. It's not too difficult, but it's time consuming. Don't think that you can knock this out in an evening. To reference and complete a bibliography will take time, especially if you've lost track of all of these page numbers and you unfortunately have to go back and find out the accurate page numbers.